You're listening to an Airwave Media podcast.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become?
Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Ken, in the studio with Jeff and Neil.
What's up?
Hello, boys.
On the computer screen, we have the man who encouraged Aaron Rodgers to do his own research, Matt.
I think everyone should do their own research. It's important.
And Julia is here as well. Even though we have a full house, we have Julia as well. Welcome back to the show, Julia.
Well, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Julia's the one who convinced Matt not to do his own research.
There you go. She's a good influence.
A good influence, yeah. She's the angel on the shoulder.
You do need 5 cards to have a full house, Ken.
I like to think if Matt was on the shoulder as a devil, he'd actually just be wearing like a devil onesie.
I could see, yeah. Matt likes onesies. I could see that.
With the logo of the New Jersey Devils.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's more expensive that way. Julia, are you doing anything for St. Patrick's Day? Just to give a little insight. That's what we're recording today. Are you doing anything special?
Oh, just cooking up some shepherd's pie at home, drinking some Guinness, and probably watching some British television.
Beautiful. That's probably what I'm going to be doing. I know here in Chicago...
That's what the Irish would want.
Exactly. Here in Chicago, I know it's a sad day, obviously, because Justin Fields was traded away, and the Bears organization waited until everyone was completely wasted during the St. Patrick's Day parades on Saturday to do it, so no one knew
the news.
Yeah, so no one knew what was going on. Yeah,
just like Congress.
Yeah, exactly.
Friday afternoon, slip something in. Exactly.
Yep. Everyone on their bar crawls had no idea what was going on. But yeah, he's going to Pittsburgh, Julia's hometown. How do you feel about that, Julia?
We will welcome him as a quarterback who can throw a touchdown.
There you go. But Ken, we have some really special guests here today.
That's right.
Or one guest, I should say, just a very special guest. We're super excited to have him here. Oakland 5 on Patreon, or as we like to call it, a British $4.50, £4.50 if we want to, from Market Harborough. Stuart Beard, how are you, Stuart?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, so nice to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we're excited to have you.
Yeah, well, I'm what I'd like to call a middle-aged man living in the middle of England. Live in Market Harborough. It's in a county called Leicestershire. We're about 90 miles north of London. And I've been doing trivia for a good while. I think I went to my first pub quiz at age 17. My dad took me to the pub. And, I've had an interest in quirky facts since then.
Now, in England, 17 is late to go to the pub for the first time, right?
It wasn't the first time I went to the pub. It's the first time I went to a pub quiz. I was going to the pub at 15, probably.
There you go.
Love it. Well, we're so excited to have you here. And you're going to be partnering with Matt today. And you had a great idea for a team name based on one of our recent Patreon bonuses, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, well, you guys were throwing a little bit of shade on one of our mascots from London 2012, Wenlock. And so we decided that When Locked In was going to be our team name.
Good luck defending Wenlock, honestly, because he's a droplet of steel who's anthropomorphized, and I hate him. So good luck with that one.
He's on your kill list.
It's the unblinking eye of Wenlock.
A drop of steel.
Day by day, I feel more convinced I could design an Olympic mascot.
Here's a question, Ken. Drops of Jupiter or drops of steel?
Drops of Jupiter.
Okay.
So that needs to be the next mascot. You know how they come up with the mascots for the Olympics? They travel to the United States, on St. Patrick's Day, go to a parade, get absolutely blitzed, and then the next morning we see what happens. It's like the Pope. Instead of the smoke, it's just the vomit comes out, and that's the new character.
You dye the river green.
Yeah, right.
That's how you announce the new mascot.
The new mascot, yeah.
Well, we're going to do one based on a mascot as well, right, Neil?
That's right.
And the upcoming mascot for Paris is the Frige, right?
The Frige.
Which is some sort of hat.
I think it's some sort of... It looks almost like the cap Napoleon wore.
So with the Chicago Bears on our minds right now, we're going to be William the Frige Perry.
William the Frige Perry, yeah, in honor of the Bears, like you said. And we're excited to play both of you, but Julia, we do need a rules read in order to play the game, and who would you like to choose today?
Oh, yeah, we're going putty.
All right, Patrick Warburton.
Rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds, worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there will be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated, have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. The end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
So thanks to Casey Kelly for that great impression of Patrick Warburton and that rules read.
Yeah, and go Devils.
Go Devils. Gotta support the team.
All right, guys. For our round 1, this is a mystery-themed round. Each of the questions is going to be 10 points apiece. And then at the end, if you get an extra 10 bonus points, if you can identify the theme. And I suspect one of you will, it'll be a no-brainer for, but I'm not going to reveal who.
Okay.
It was Matt with the lead pipe in the Triviality studio. That kind of mystery?
You got it.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Question 1. Deadheads and 5th graders at summer camp know the resistance coloring technique consisting of folding, twisting, pleating, or crumpling fabric before binding with string or rubber bands, then applying color, is called what?
Reluctant.
Stuart, do you ever do this?
No, but I think, can I just freely discuss now?
Yeah, they're locked in, so we can just chat about it.
Is this batik?
I think that this is the tie-dye method.
Oh, no, okay, now I'm thinking too deep. Yeah, tie-dye. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, that would make sense, yeah.
We're going to go tie-dye.
Have you done this, Neil?
I've done tie-dye.
I've never had the pleasure, but I do like watching a good intricate tie-dye video on
You never did
YouTube
this in school?
Whatever. No.
Oh,
never.
we used to go, we would take
Nobody's given me the opportunity to tie and dye.
Yeah, in like 1st grade kindergarten, we would go to someone's house or whatever for like a lunch thing in the summer, and then we'd all have these buckets, and everyone did their designs. They put in the bucket with the rubber bands. And
yeah, we know your childhood was better than mine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to remind you that as you approach middle age, you're free to do this of your own accord.
It's true. But then I have to buy all the rubber bands and the dye. It just
You
sounds like a
guys-
hassle.
You guys can add this as an extra Patreon tier. Like, people can come to Chicago and teach you how to tie-dye.
All right.
Yes, that is the answer, guys. So, yes, to Stuart's point. So, the earliest examples of tie-dye are from the Far East. They're from the Sui dynasty in China. Some colorful fabric art terms for you guys. A form of tie-dye called shibori originated in Japan and has been practiced since the 8th century. Batik is a form of wax resist dyeing, and ikat is a dyeing technique in Indonesia that binds and dyes individual yarn or bundles of yarn to create elaborate multicolored patterns before being woven into cloth. So, yes, some extra bonus words for you guys.
I can tell Stuart is going to be a scary trivia player.
Yes, yeah.
That's like a British trivia player is like a Canadian hockey player. Like, you don't want to mess with them.
Well, when they say quiz, when they're quiz masters, you know that they mean business.
Yes.
And you know what else?
When they call it a quiz,
that's right.
They mean business.
And based on what Julia said, it's also Jay-Z's favorite art form, shaboy.
Okay.
There you go. That was for Matt.
No, it wasn't. I gave
it was
it
to
back.
make you embarrassed, which I did, and I'm happy I did it.
He takes great umbrage to that joke.
Question 2. A Scottish heraldic symbol since the late medieval period. What is the non-edible, for many reasons, national animal of Scotland?
All right. They are locked in. It'd be a real blessing if you know this one. Stuart, do you know this?
yeah, of course I do. I think the first time I came across you guys, I've been listening to Good Job Brain, and hearing your ads, and you were saying about wombats pooping cubes, and they would say to somebody, I thought it was Matt, but would say, "Do you know the national animal of Scotland is the unicorn?" And he'd say, "I don't know, and I don't care."
No, that's Ken.
That was me.
Ken's the grumpy goose.
Oh, it's Ken, is it? Sorry.
So yes, unicorn.
I'm glad the ads are working.
Yeah,
it's good to hear. We also had unicorn.
Excellent, you guys. Yes, the answer is unicorn.
If you could eat a unicorn, would you eat a unicorn?
I was going to say, Ken, if you know, even though you're vegan,
would it taste like corn?
I would say if you have the chance,
A
take
singular
it,
corn.
So.
Is a unicorn's glue rainbow?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
You can make more glue out of a unicorn because it has hooves and a horn.
That's true.
Since it's Scottish, then it would be they would batter it for sure.
Serve it at the chippy.
Alongside Mars bars and pizza.
Perfect. All right, question 3. The Collins Street Bakery in Corsicana, Texas, and the Claxton Bakery in Claxton, Georgia, are two well-known American bakers of what oft-maligned and typically boozy historical holiday dessert.
Along with tie-dye, I've never eaten this particular dessert, but it is often maligned, so we're going to go ahead and lock in.
Okay, they're locked in. Stuart, you familiar with this food item?
When I think of dessert items that might be baked and have alcohol in it, I'm thinking of a rum bar or a Christmas pudding or a plum pudding or however you might describe it. And if it's a holiday dessert, I like them, so I wouldn't know why anyone would malign Christmas puddings. But you might have a better view on whether it's maligned or not.
The most maligned Christmas or holiday dessert I could think of is the fruitcake. I believe nobody seems to enjoy that one, but I think a Christmas pudding or whatever.
Hold on. Is fruitcake and Christmas pudding synonymous? Is that the same?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also a chance that we're all discussing like the same item, just called several different things.
Yeah,
like a blood pudding, figgy pudding. I don't know.
Yeah, all those sorts of
Christmas
things.
pudding is a little smaller.
Yeah. So I'm okay locking in a nice Christmas pudding if you are.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And we're gonna go with the fruitcake angle.
All right, guys, I have to be specific on this. It is a fruitcake. So specifically, when a fruitcake consists a good deal of alcohol, it can be preserved for many years. For example, a fruitcake baked in 1878 has been kept as a family heirloom by a family in Michigan. And in 2017, a 106-year-old fruitcake was discovered from the Robert Falcon Scott expedition to Antarctica. And the Antarctic Heritage Trust has described it as, quote, in excellent condition and, quote, almost edible.
I hope somebody tries.
All right. Question 4. Hope you packed your walking shoes. Tauros in the United States and Canada, Mr. Mime in Europe, Kangaskhan in Australia. These are all Gen 1 region-locked exclusives in what augmented reality mobile game?
So Matt knew it right away.
Yeah, Team Wenlock is locked in.
It's like Animal Crossing or something?
I'm afraid this might be Pokemon Go.
Oh, that makes sense.
I remember traveling while I was still playing Pokemon Go, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if they have any interesting Pokemon in Sweden." And I was able to collect some interesting ones. But we're gonna go with Pokemon Go.
The game that I've sunk way too much money into and continue to play to this day. 100% Pokemon Go.
Points all around. It's Pokemon Go. After only 90 days on the market, that game reached the milestone of $600 million in revenue. It was like the fastest mobile game ever to do so. And people are still playing it. It was first released.
People died when they walked into rivers and lakes and fell off cliffs. That was a problem.
Or into traffic.
I think I talked to Matt about this, but there's a suburb near us called Naperville, and we went there one day to go shop at a store, and there were just people all over on the corners, like on their phones with like charging packs in their backpack with long cords, and we didn't know what was going on. And then we heard someone like doing that thing where you're like tapping it, like fighting or whatever. And Colleen's like, "Oh, it's Pokemon Go."
Well, me and Jeff were in that crowd.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, it was because you could get the water Pokemon right next to the creek.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was in France with my mom in 2017, and the only souvenir Josh asked me for was to get a Mr. Mime. For
That's great.
All right, question 5. Of the 12 animals in the traditional Chinese zodiac, which is the only mythical creature?
Stuart, very familiar with the Chinese zodiac?
Reasonably, yeah. The local Chinese takeaway has a calendar up. And
that's how most people seem to be familiar with it.
Yeah, but I think this is my birth year as well anyway, so it's dragon.
It's this year, isn't it? Is this the year of the dragon?
This year. Yeah, it was the dragon, yeah. This is the year I turned 60, so yeah.
Oh, happy
birthday.
Yeah, very auspicious.
Well, yeah. So and that would make sense being a multiple of 12, so yeah.
Yeah, we also had dragon, and yet another reason to fear Stuart.
Yeah.
I am also a dragon, so
I've been afraid of you for a long time.
Rightfully so.
Of course, you guys are all right. So not only do we cycle chronologically through the 12 signs of the Chinese zodiac, but each time one appears, it also cycles through one of 5 elements. So earth, metal, water, wood, or fire. And so right now we are in the year of the dragon, and 2024 is associated with the element wood. So we're actually in the year of the wood dragon. The next time dragon comes around will be 2036, when it will be the year of the fire dragon.
Finally.
FYI.
So the wood dragon does not want acid reflux, because if they accidentally get a little flame out of their mouth, they set themselves on fire.
Mm-hmm.
This episode brought to you by Prilosec OTC.
OTC, one a day.
The scores today are pretty easy for me to tabulate, Ken. I'm looking here at 40 points for When Locked In, and William the Frisian Perry, 50 points. So well done to both teams.
Yes, you guys are crushing it so far. All right, question 6. Created by the card company American Greetings in the 1970s, which sweet cartoon ragdoll went on to anchor a popular Kenner toy line and star in a series of animated TV specials? 1980s girls will remember her Calico Cat Custard and friends like Lemon Meringue and Lime Chiffon.
We are locked in.
All right. I think 1980s boys remember it too. I have a vague memory of this. Stuart, do you know which character she's talking about?
I've got a name in my head that sort of fits with the other friends of Strawberry Shortcake, but I don't know whether that's whether I'm just making something up.
Yeah, I believe her name is Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah, just based on the naming conventions, we're going to go with Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah, you guys are right. It is Strawberry Shortcake. So that line of characters each had their own like fruit or dessert themed name with clothing to match the fruit or dessert themed name. And they each also like smelled like that as well. That was really cool. Like the dolls were very scented. She has been relicensed several times in the 21st century, each time with like a new revamped look. And there was a period of time where we had like a sexy Strawberry Shortcake out there, but it has since kind of been like retconned.
Was that 1998?
It's about time for the gritty reboot.
How about the sexy Cabbage Patch dolls?
No.
No one wants that.
No one wants that. All right, question 7. With their tanks and their bombs and their guns, what's the title of the chart-topping 1994 protest song written in response to a bombing during the Troubles?
All right, we are locked in on this one.
I'm good on this.
Okay. I have nothing to add then. Stuart, what's the answer?
Zombie.
Yeah, Zombie by the Cranberries, I believe.
You guys are, of course, correct.
I'm starting to look at these answers and determine a theme here, and I got nothing.
I got nothing.
It all seems like fun stuff, but I've got nothing.
Things that are fun.
Things that are fun. Well, you have a couple more to get out there. A little bit more about a zombie. So Dolores O'Riordan wrote the song in response to the death of Jonathan Ball, age 3, and Tim Perry, age 12, who were killed in the 1993 Warrington bombings when 2 IRA improvised explosive devices hidden in litter bins were detonated in a shopping street. In April 2020, it became the first song by an Irish group to pass 1 billion views on YouTube. And in 2022, RTE 2FM listeners voted it the greatest Irish hit of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, I about 100,000 of those views are from me.
Great
all
song.
right.
Yeah,
Question 8. The practice of scrying, SCRYING, involves gazing to predict the future or divine hidden information. Outlook good. Which specific scrying object unites the following? Professor Marvel in The Wizard of Oz, Madame Leota at Disney's Haunted Mansion, and Sybil Trelawney's classroom in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
All right, we're locked in here. And it sounds like Matt has had a revelation about the theme.
Yeah, you guys won't get it.
So it was for you? Is that what you're saying? It was for you?
So.
Okay.
Stuart, do you know this?
My instinct for this was this distinctly British looking at tea leaves. And certainly Sybil Trelawney looks at tea leaves when she's in the film. But the other references make no odds to me at all.
Yeah, I think the outlook looks good as a hint to a magic 8-ball, which is a form of a crystal ball. So I think that the answer is crystal ball.
We also said crystal ball, but we don't have Matt's advantage of knowing what the category is yet.
Both teams get points. It is a crystal ball. So scrying, this is a new word to me. It generally relies on visions within the chosen medium. So it could be crystals or orbs or mirrors, still water or other reflective and refractive and luminescent surfaces.
It's a very flavorful mechanic as well in Magic the Gathering.
I often scry on Jeff's eyes.
I often scry myself to sleep.
Thinking about the future.
And in your definition, that's just a portmanteau of scream cry, right?
That's right. Yeah, into my pillow.
2 a.m.
All right, question 9. In modern drag racing, cars, not queens, sorry Santa, what is the 2-word term for the electronic starting device that uses colorful, calibrated LED lights to produce a visual countdown for the racers?
This wasn't in Tokyo Drift, so for that, I don't know that.
All right, we might have to take a pass on this one then. We're going to tap out.
Stuart, you do a lot of drag racing over in where you're at in England?
Well, there's a drag racing about in Northampton. There's Santa Pod Raceway. It's not so far away, but no, never been.
So do you have any idea on this, or
No,
Okay.
not foggiest.
I think that the clue to Santa implies a holiday theme, and I think that the lights evoke a Christmas tree theme, so I'm pretty sure that it's Christmas tree.
Points to When Locked In.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great job. Yes, of course, it is called the Christmas tree, and it is because it's a column of lights. There's different colors. They're activated after the drivers are properly staged on the starting line, and then some light beams go off, and then it's called the Christmas tree device. All right, and question 10. So your last chance to figure out what our theme is for this round. Question 10. Figure headed out. The Rusalka in Slavic folklore, the Ningyo in Japanese tradition, and the Hafru in Scandinavia are all versions of what magical creatures of folklore?
Did your aunt take you to a zoo to see the Ningyo?
No, that's when
They're locked in, Stuart. What are you thinking?
Sweden, I'm just thinking trolls. And the figurehead, I don't know whether that they were often like a big-headed, when they were a toy, they were quite a big head. That was the only angle I've got on that.
It's possible. Goblin, leprechaun, something along those lines. But I don't remember this. So I'm okay locking in with troll.
Yeah. Something kind of jogged my memory a little bit, but then I was just kind of looking at I don't know the theme yet, but I was just looking at the answers here and thought maybe it could be mermaid.
You guys, the answer is mermaid.
Oh.
Yes. So yes, the Rusalka in Slavic folklore, they come up a lot. I think I've seen trivia questions with them too. So they're kind of like siren-like mermaid creatures. But yes, very common in all forms of folklore.
Matt, if there was a siren in the ocean, what would it take for them to get you in the ocean? Like, what would they have to say to you? Like we have with limited edition Jordans, or what would it be?
Yeah, I think that the entire 1996 Chicago Bulls are on this island and they're waiting for you, and they want to ask you for shooting tips. I think I would row my boat right over there. Hang out with Judd Buechler.
This is round one theme for 10 bonus points. What was the theme of this round?
So you're locked in with your theme, Matt, you said.
Yeah.
Okay. At first
Things
I was
that are fun and interesting.
First I was thinking it was like Great British Bake Off challenges, but I don't think all of them are that. I mean, I
remember the Dragon Challenge.
I know they've made shortcakes, and Kim Joy's probably made some of these, but
could it be on theme with the mascot thing? And it's like bad college mascots or something.
Zombie crystal ball. Well, yeah, I was also thinking
man,
like
is there a Pokemon
If there's
mascot?
a fruitcake mascot, I would like.
I know there's a Christmas tree mascot.
I also thought it was going to be Lisa Frank artwork.
Could be,
but with the tie dye and the fruitcake or
I
the
think
zombie.
we just don't know.
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know if there's a college with a zombie mascot, but
Matt, tell us what it is.
Yeah, the fruitcake was probably the worst one. I'll tell you about a day in 2007 when the unicorn ruined my life and stained my hands pink and blue. These are all limited edition Frappuccinos from the conglomerate.
Oh.
He is absolutely correct. And yes, Matt was my inspiration for this theme round. So thanks, Matt. I'm glad you got it. Yeah, I had so much fun like looking back. I mean, I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry for your pain. But I had a lot of fun looking back through the list of limited edition Frappuccinos that they'd had. So yeah, Strawberry Shortcake was 2015. Fruitcake and Pokemon Go were 2016. 2017 is like the big year. We get Unicorn, Mermaid, Dragon, Zombie, and Christmas Tree. Crystal Balls 2018. Tie-Dye was 2019. I can only imagine like how awful it was to just make all of these for Instagrammers.
Now,
So
the mermaid Frappuccino had a little bit of fish and a little bit of human flesh in it, right?
Yes, one scoop.
it wasn't
of
as
tuna.
popular. Yeah.
One nice liver, I believe.
You had to balance it on the scales.
So they're going to be getting an extra 10 points, Jeff. Is that right for the score?
Indeed, and Matt's pain actually is worth it because that 10 extra bonus points brings you both dead level at 90 points apiece. So, Matt, it's good to know your suffering was for something. 10 points on a game show, that doesn't matter.
10 years after it happened. Great.
Before we get to the swing round, Ken, would love to talk about Patreon if you have a second.
Sure.
Are you going anywhere?
No, I'm not going anywhere. Did you just like knock on my door? What happened?
No, I'd love to talk about Patreon though because
I thought you were in need of a new vacuum.
Yeah.
He's wearing a short sleeve button down shirt and a tie. He's about to sell me on a new religion or perhaps a vacuum,
A briefcase?
or Cutco knives.
do you have a few moments to talk about our Lord and Savior Patreon?
Go ahead, tell me about it.
But yeah, well, Patreon, we're excited because in a few days we're going to be doing our Patreon bonuses for the week. We have a weekly Patreon bonus that you'll get if you join us over at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast.
That's at $5, right, Mr. Salesman?
That's at $5 or higher. You get all of those weekly bonuses plus over 50 hours of content that we've already recorded from the last 7 years.
But that's just too much for me. I've only got $1 a month to spare.
That's
what do I
okay.
get for that?
For $1 a month, you get all of our episodes ad-free, all our new episodes ad-free, as well as not even hearing these ads. So you can get all that on your own private feed that goes right to your podcast player. It could be Spotify, it could be Apple Podcasts, it could be Overcast, whatever you listen to your podcasts on. You'll get this feed completely ad-free and a little early as well.
And just theoretically, if I had more
generosity,
money
let's say.
to spare,
right?
What could I get for that?
Well, you could get a poster. You could get a loot crate box, put together by one of us. You can get one of us for the night. It's a lot of different options.
There are many. Let's just say there are many
That's
wonderful
a real
perks
indecent proposal style.
for your support over at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast.
And let's go ahead and move right on to the swing round. Let's hear what you got for us.
All right, guys, our swing round category is Up on Top. This is a round all about layers. I will give you the category and name all of its layers from bottom to top or inside to out. I'll let you know which one it is. And you'll just have to name the missing top or outermost layer.
Okay.
Got it? All right, number 1, layers of the earth from the inside out. Inner core, outer core, mantle, blank. Number 2, layers of the human eyeball from the inside out. Retina, choroid, blank. Number 3, layers of a croque madame from the bottom up. Toasted bread, sliced ham, melted cheese, Mornay sauce, toasted bread, blank. Question 4. Layers of the ocean from the bottom up. The hadopelagic zone, the abyssopelagic zone, the bathypelagic zone, the mesopelagic zone, blank. Number 5. Layers of the Earth's atmosphere from the bottom up. Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, blank. Number 6. Layers of a tooth from the inside out. Pulp, dentin, blank.
I don't like pulp when talking about a tooth.
No?
Right.
It sent a chill down my spine.
Number 7. Layers of a B-52 cocktail from the bottom up. Coffee liqueur, Irish cream liqueur, blank. Number 8. Layers of the sun's atmosphere from the bottom up. Photosphere, chronosphere, transition region, blank. Number 9. Layers of the meninges, which are the membranes around the human brain and spinal cord, from the inside out. The pia mater, the arachnoid, blank. And finally, question 10 for these Chicago boys. Lou Malnati's deep dish pizza from the bottom up. Secret recipe dough, mozzarella slices, lean sausage, blank.
Julia, I just have to tell you, I both love this swing round, and I'm glad I'm not playing in it.
And on that note, we are playing in it, so we'll have to think about these answers, and we'll be right back.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end,
What will I become? Senwa Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
And we are back, and we are ready to hear these layers again and see if we have come up with the correct top layer.
I have a lot of faith in everybody here. I don't know if that's misplaced or misguided or anything, but all right. Number 1, layers of the earth from the inside out. The inner core, outer core, mantle, and then what?
We're going to go with crust.
We also are going to go with crust.
Good job to both of you. The answer is crust. All right, number 2, layers of the human eyeball from the inside out. The retina, the choroid, and then what?
I was approaching an answer here, but I couldn't quite remember the word, so I think we're just going to go with the not very much beloved Judge Scalia.
We ended up going with cornea.
All right, the boys in the Chicago room, I'm gonna need some clarification on your answer.
It's wrong. There's your clarification.
Okay. All right. Well,
I
would accept.
I put the consonants
They said
in the wrong
Scalia.
spot.
Yeah. I would accept either the sclera or the cornea. So the outer layer of the eyeball is the tough white opaque membrane called the sclera, which is the white of the eye. But there is a slight bulge in the sclera at the front of the eye. That's your clear, thin, dome-shaped tissue called the cornea. So points to when locked in.
We were between both of those.
I missed an R.
I'm glad that either one would have been correct.
Yeah.
Always feels good.
All right. Number 3, layers of a croque madame from the bottom up. Toasted bread, sliced ham, melted cheese, Mornay sauce, toasted bread, and then what?
Oof.
We said the egg.
Yeah, the difference between a croque monsieur and a croque madame is the addition of an egg.
Excellent. Yes. Points all around. Question 4, layers of the ocean from the bottom up. The hadopelagic zone, the abyssopelagic zone, the bathypelagic zone, the mesopelagic zone, and then what?
Well, since the troposphere is where everything lives, we're going to say the tropopelagic zone.
We went with just a classic pelagic zone. Pelagic, whatever it is. That's what we went with.
So pelagic refers to like the full ocean water column. The upper open ocean is called the epipelagic zone. So that's the part of the ocean where there's enough sunlight for algae to photosynthesize. So the answer
Matt,
is the
your
epipelagic
zone is showing.
That is why I didn't include a skin question here, because I thought that this would be harder and more fun. And we all learned something today, I think. And isn't that the point of this? All right, question 5. Layers of the Earth's atmosphere from the bottom up. The troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and then what?
We said the exosphere.
I've heard of something called the ionosphere. I don't know where it fits in the atmosphere, but since it's missing, I'm hoping it's that.
The answer is exosphere on this one. All right, but question 6, Ken's favorite. The layers of a tooth from the inside out. Pulp, dentin, and then what?
We're saying enamel, because I always hear about it on toothpaste commercials.
We also went with the dentist's favorite, enamel.
Correct, enamel. All right, number 7, layers of a B52 cocktail from the bottom up. Coffee liqueur, Irish cream liqueur, and then what?
We're just going to finish that off with just a splash of Guinness.
We were going something harder with whiskey.
I mean, both of those sound delicious, but technically the B52 cocktail is Kahlua, Bailey's, and then Grand Marnier, or an orange liqueur. So the answer of the top layer is an orange liqueur. All right, number 8, layers of the sun's atmosphere from the bottom up. The photosphere, chronosphere, transition region, and then what?
We just wrote hot.
Sticking with the liquor theme, we went with Corona.
I mean, technically correct is, in this case, I'm not going to give points to the Chicago boys, but yes, the answer is Corona. All right. And number 9, the layers of the meninges, which are the membranes around the human brain and spinal cord from the inside out. We have the pia mater, the arachnoid, and then what?
We said the gray matter.
And I'm just dragging out words that seem sort of subject adjacent and went with occipital.
While these are both terms related to the brain, the answer here is the dura mater. So that delicate inner layer is called the pia mater. The middle layer is the arachnoid. It's like a web-like, like squishy fluid that cushions the brain. And then the tough outer layer is the dura mater.
And then if you ask Kevin Costner and Tim Robbins, you get the bull dura mater.
Sure. It was a matter of time.
I think duro is Latin for hard or tough.
That tracks.
See, that's perfect. Neil gives us nonsense, and then Stuart gives us real information.
It's the yin and yang. You get both, yeah.
All right, and then number 10, a Lou Malnati's deep dish pizza from the bottom up. It's a secret recipe dough, mozzarella slices, lean sausage, and then what?
The sauce.
Yes, we said tomato sauce.
Yes, of course. The answer is tomato sauce. And you guys can enjoy your casserole with bread at the bottom. But yes.
I enjoy it rather frequently. All right, coming out of the swing round, teams did better than I thought they would.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So getting half of the questions for 25 points. William the Phrygian Perry brings their score up to 115. And taking a slight lead advantage with 30, adding to their score to make it 120 when locked in.
Awesome. All right, round 2, normal round. Each question has its own category and is worth 10 points apiece. All right, your category for number 1 is the GOAT. Who became the all-time NCAA Division I leading scorer on March 3rd, 2024, beating Pistol Pete Maravich's 54-year-old record for most points scored in a college basketball career?
We're locked in.
You're on your own.
Not your specialty, Stuart?
I've heard you say NCAA lots of times. What does it mean? What does it stand
National
for?
Collegiate Association, something like that. I forget. It's for college sports.
Of athletics, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, university sports.
All sports, then?
Yeah.
This is for college, or women's college basketball. I believe.
Which I follow very closely.
Yeah.
Neil this is all basketball.
Only
now.
people from his alma mater, so he knows her very well. She goes to Iowa, right?
That's
Neil,
right.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, this is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark passed Pistol Pete Maravich to have the most points all time, so we said Caitlin Clark.
Points to both teams. Yes, the answer is Caitlin Clark. She's a 6-foot-tall point guard for the Iowa Hawkeyes. She scored 3,685 points in 130 games from 2020 to 2024. That is an average of 28.3 points per game.
Domination.
Pretty good.
And she
is
passed the
incredible.
ball.
She's incredible. All right, question 2. Your category is tweet. Tiffany Haddish and Ali Wong voiced the 2 title characters in what animated sitcom that ran from 2019 to 2022?
All right, I could kind of picture this one, but I don't know the name of the show. So I think we're going to say Birdie Johnson.
Oh boy, I don't think I know this one. Do you have any idea, Stuart?
No, I mean, tweet obviously refers to birds, but it also could refer to Twitter or X or whatever. I don't know whether that leads us anywhere, but tweet. No.
This is one of those shows. I don't know if it was Netflix only. It looked like BoJack Horseman, but it was not BoJack Horseman, and I don't know the name of it. It's like an anthropomorphic bird lady.
That's exactly what I was picturing, Matt. We're both picturing the right show.
Yeah. But I don't think we're going to get it, so... Secret Life of Pets, the TV show.
Julia, tell us what it is.
All right. You in studio, you're closer than you might think. The show is called Tuca and Birdie.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking Toucans, too.
Toucans, yeah.
Yeah. Tuca Toucan is played by Tiffany Haddish, and then Roberta Birdie Songthrush is Ali Wong. They live in the same apartment complex. That recurring guest list that they have on the show is stacked. It ran on Netflix for one season and then actually transferred to Adult Swim. So that's kind of a interesting switch from streaming to cable. But Lisa Hannawalt created the character, and she also worked on BoJack Horseman. So there's very similar styling there. So it's a great show. Josh loved it. All right. Number 3, your category is Texas Hold'em. During Super Bowl 58, Beyonce starred in a Verizon commercial in which she tried to break the internet, culminating in the announcement of her next album release for March 29th, 2024. What is the full title of this album, the second installment of a trilogy that she recorded throughout the COVID-19 pandemic?
I know it. We can look in.
Okay.
Is it because the album was a flop? I don't know. It wasn't. It's done very well. On the country charts for some reason. Stuart, do you have any idea what the name of this album is? I know. Why?
No, I don't know. There's something about poets or whatever, but I think Taylor Swift also pre-announced the.
Yeah, hers is Long Live the Poets.
The Tortured Poets Department.
Tortured Poets Department.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that.
It's not that. No,
I don't know.
Yeah. And then for the Texas Hold'em, it could be anything there. So maybe Royal Flush.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you said the full title, Julia.
Sure. Yes.
I believe it's Act 2, Cowboy Carter.
You got it. Yes. This is, of course, of note, a country album. The first 2 singles were Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. They were released the night of the Super Bowl. Texas Hold'em topped the Billboard 100 and Hot Country Songs chart, making Beyonce the first Black woman with a #1 country song in Billboard history.
Okay.
I'm not a great gig goer, but I have been to see Destiny's Child.
Oh, wow.
I was on the second row with my daughter, who would have been, about 7 or 8 or something like that. So it'd be about 2000, somewhere around there.
Perfect. All right. Question 4. Your category is fairy smut.
Oh.
A Court of Thorn and Roses, abbreviated ACOTAR, adult fantasy series follows the journey of Fair Archeron, who ends up in the fairylands of Prythian after killing a wolf. Adventures and spicy scenes ensue. Who is the author behind this international best-selling series, which is definitely not suitable for a Sunday church service?
This book is on my shelf at home.
Wait, it's like sex fairies?
Just read it, Neil.
I probably won't, but...
There's lots of different creatures in this.
Oh, okay.
And
Sure.
they
Very
all get
spicy series.
This is just reminding me of what JB Smoove said on one of the last episodes of Curb about Tinkerbell, so that's what I was thinking of. So
That was funny.
Okay.
Well, I work at the high school library now, so I see a large section of fantasy books by a certain author, and I'm going to choose that author. So we're locked in.
I think fantasy smut is the largest growing genre of book right now. Stuart, are you familiar with these?
Absolutely not. Do I look like that sort of person? I mean, this is going way over my head.
Yeah, I've seen these in our household quite a bit. Sarah J. Maas is the author. Yeah.
Yes, I was having a little bit of laugh about the titles of fantasy books because it's all just like a word jumble of like mist and shadow and ice and fire and flames and court of glass and
bone
and shadow. And we're saying Sarah Maas as well.
You guys are both right. You should just know who she is, right? She's written the Throne of Glass series, the Crescent City series, like Book Talk officially made like ACOTAR and its sequels, like one of the biggest series in the fantasy genre. And it is like, of course, like one of the fastest growing series. And
can I just have like a standalone like fantasy book that's like a good solid 500 pages without having to read 6,000 pages to enjoy a little fantasy? Is that okay?
There are many wonderful duologies out there, Ken. That's about as good as I can get you these days.
All right. Stuart, this one's for you. Question 5. Your category is Your Time Starts Now. Which British comedy panel game show started as a concept at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 2010 and was adapted for television on the network Dave in 2015? The program has completed 16 series, 3 Champion of Champions specials, and 4 New Year's treat one-offs so far, and is set to continue for at least 5 more series until 2026.
Locked in.
Oh, that's good. Neil, you're a fan of British television.
I am. I do watch a lot of British television. Although now I'm second guessing my answer, but I'm assuming it's QI. But that's what we're gonna lock in with.
What do we lock in with, Stuart? I don't know.
I'm assuming this is Taskmaster. It's a really I've watched all of them, and it's really good because although it's the same format every time, they just managed to. The people just pick her naturally funny, and there's certainly an Australian Taskmaster as well, and I believe it's been repeated in several other countries, like in Germany and Scandinavia, whatever.
I know it's one of Julia's favorite shows. I should have thought about that one.
It is one of my favorite shows. When Locked In gets it. It is Taskmaster. If you don't know it, I recommend cherry picking seasons based on comedians that you recognize. Mm-hmm. For example, my favorite series 4 is Hugh Dennis, Joe Lycett, Lolly Adefope, Mel Giedroyc, and Noel Fielding. Oh, it's an amazing one.
But if you pick one with Bob Mortimer in it, he's very, very good. He's got very
absurdist,
absurd sense of humour, and it's good. And the interaction between Greg and Alex is fantastic. So it's most people now listening have no idea what we're talking about.
You would be surprised the intersection between trivia podcast listeners and British TV watchers in America. It's pretty close. So yes, love.
All right. So after the first half of the second round has concluded, scores are same gap as before. Both teams picking up 30 points there. When Locked In, still with a lead of 150 over William the Frisian Perry's 145.
All right, home stretch. Category for number 6 is The Mistake on the Lake. A lighthearted fundraising event held in Cleveland, Ohio on September 27, 1986 sought to break a Guinness World Record. Instead, the stunt ended up shutting down highways, an airport, and clogged the land and waterways of Northeast Ohio into Canada. What was this infamous event, which seemed like a good idea at the time?
That'd be fun, yeah.
Okay, we're locked in.
I think I know this.
Really?
Yeah, because I think I saw a clip of this literally this week. Is it that they launched like millions of balloons, and they all went up, and all of a sudden the wind blew the other way, and they had to shut an airport, and there was just balloons everywhere.
That's possible. This is the real life inspiration for 99 red balloons.
Yeah.
I or up. I'm not sure, but yeah, we could go with a whole bunch of balloons.
Yeah, that sounds like an environmental disaster. But we went a different way, and we said like rubber ducks in the water.
Points to when locked in. The answer was Balloon Fest 86. It is incredible. If you don't know the story, so basically like this local chapter of the United Way wanted to like set a world record by launching 2 million balloons into the air. They wanted to sell sponsorships of the balloons. And like essentially what happened was like the weather went wrong. And instead of the balloons all going up into the air, the cold front made all the balloons come down. So it like caused like 1.4 million balloons to like clog the streets and the highways and the water. Like balloons were like in the lake for years and years afterward. They were not concerned about like the environmental impact of 1.5 million balloons worth of latex into the air and wildlife. They did get into the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest ever balloon release, but Guinness after that no longer measures balloon releases. So
I do also want to say Neil is also an environmental disaster because he alone is also responsible for 1 million pieces of latex in the landfill.
I mean, this is maybe not for the recording, but I have a slightly unusual connection with both of those things. So by training, I'm a rubber engineer. So
thank you for your service.
So we've learned all about the process of making balloons and other thin-walled rubber objects, and so yeah, it's quite funny.
Excellent. All right, number 7. Your category is only lipsticks in the building. The exquisite Selena Gomez is a full-fledged multi-hyphenate. Actress, singer, producer, businesswoman, and mental health advocate. But what is the name of her cosmetics company, which is anything but common?
What's it called? I'm quitting Twitter.
Just give me 1 sec. I think I know this one.
I love how she quits and comes back 2 hours later. Quits, comes back, quits, comes back. She's allowed to do whatever she wants, but it's entertaining.
Okay, we are locked in with Selena Gomez's beauty line.
Yeah. All right. Neil knows this one offhand. Stuart, do you have any idea?
Well, I know nothing of Selena Gomez, but other than
you're missing out.
But, yeah,
she's great.
Is she the most followed person on Instagram or something like
that? Possibly. I don't know.
Yeah. But anything but common. I mean, I would be going something like rare or unique or something like that.
I believe she also created Banjo-Kazooie. I think it's also rare. So we can lock in with rare.
I like how Neil's trying to show me the answer to get my confirmation like I have any idea.
Well, yeah, someone who's tried many moisturizers, face washes, and other things from different celebrities. I've seen this one. It's Rare Beauty. That's what we locked in with.
Points all around. It is Rare Beauty. So they aim to be inclusive by offering a diverse range of like more than 4 dozen foundation and concealer shades. The cosmetics are vegan, cruelty-free, made with recyclable materials, and the packaging is also made to be easy to use by people with disabilities, which isn't not always a common thought process behind a lot of our mass-produced cosmetics out there. So, all right, question 8. Your category is Superfly. Elizabeth Hargrave is the designer of which card-driven engine building game in which players compete to attract birds to their wildlife reserves?
All right, I know I've seen this game in the shops, but I can't place the name, so we're going to go with a guess here, and just might be correct.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a big board game player. Stuart, do you have any inroads to this?
Not really, no. I mean, what could you do to attract birds? I mean, it's sort of like the opposite of a scarecrow.
Yeah, it'd be like a bird song
or bird feeder or
yeah.
Batman's most feared villain, reverse scarecrow.
Reverse scarecrow. That'd be a fun game. So we have nothing, right?
Yeah, no, nothing.
Yeah, reverse scarecrow it is.
We're gonna say that this was a partnership with the Duck movie and call it Migration.
All right, this board game is called Wingspan. It was released in 2019 by Stonemaier Games. It is a beautifully illustrated game. It has very interesting game mechanics and pieces. There's cute little tiny eggs and like a bird feeder that you like shake the die in. It's really beautiful. I recommend playing it in person, but they also have a digital version of it as well. It's one of the best-selling games ever created by a woman of a Euro game in America.
It's awesome.
Step 1, get Wingspan. Step 2, find some friends.
I've heard that before. It's one of those board game questions when I don't do board games outside of Monopoly or whatever. That's always paired with Catan or something like that. It's one of these sort of modern board games. Yeah.
Yes, it's a modern game. It's only a few years old and it's gorgeous. There's expansion packs for different areas of the world too, it just makes it so much more playable, and it's a different game every time you play it. So, highly recommended. All right, question 9. Your category is winter or spring. The unlikely quartet of Zendaya, Jennifer Lopez, Bad Bunny, and Chris Hemsworth are the co-chairs of this year's Met Gala, the annual fundraiser for the Metropolitan Museum of Art. In honor of the Costume Institute's exhibition Sleeping Beauties, Reawakening Fashion, what is this year's official dress code for the gala on May 6th, 2024? And I'll be very lenient with the answers.
Yeah. Okay. Neil knows it.
I haven't been keeping up with my Met Gala news, unfortunately.
What about Bad Bunny?
I was going to say it coincides with Bad Bunny, so you'd think I'd have some sort of influence there. But I have no idea. Stuart, have you gotten your invitation yet?
No. I mean, after the cat fiasco last year, it was...
Yeah. No meat suits, I believe, is one of the rules this year as well. So...
That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, what did you say? Black tie, whatever, or?
I mean, what have been the themes in previous years? You can think,
I honestly know nothing. I just know that you'll see the crazy pictures the next day.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the pictures, but don't take any notice of the theme.
All right. So we, after hearing the question a second time, we think there might be a clue with the Sleeping Beauties reawakened. Maybe it has to do with vintage. So all the clothes have to be either vintage or old.
And Neil wrote down the answer, and I still don't know what it means. So,
yeah,
Neil?
It sounds like one of the fantasy books that you need to read that's 500 pages. But
right.
We said The Garden of Time.
Right, spot on. It is The Garden of Time. So this year's dress code is based on The Garden of Time, which is a 1962 short story by J.G. Ballard, an English novelist and satirist and essayist. Basically, the story is it's a metaphor for the evolution of human history and the endless cycle of creation and destruction, yada, yada, yada. But just basically be prepared to see a lot of florals is what I expect.
So in order to understand the theme, there's actually reading that has to be done first.
And not a single person is gonna do the assignment, I'm sure.
J.G. Ballard also wrote the work that inspired the Steven Spielberg movie with Christian Bale, Ken.
What's that?
Christian Bale, Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh.
Empire of the Sun.
That's right. And J.G. Mallard wrote Migration, the screenplay.
All right, and finally, question 10, your category is The People's Royal. Speaking of Vogue magazine, after vaulting to stardom for portraying Princess Diana in the 4th season of Netflix's The Crown, which actor was also Vogue's first non-binary cover star?
We're going to lock in with a last name that we think is correct.
I am no help on this one. Didn't watch The Crown.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, most people I know have got, not interested in what's happened or happening with the royal family whatsoever. So it's only
already
the press.
been oversaturated.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you were there live at the time, so
yeah,
less interesting. I don't think we're going to pull a name, so I think this one we might just have to give the old tap.
I think first name is Elizabeth, but I don't want to confirm that. But we're going to go with the last name Debicki.
Oh, this is actually Emma Corrin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you may have also seen them in the 2023 miniseries A Murder at the End of the World. They've also been in a few period films, My Policeman and Lady Chatterley's Lover, and starred recently on stage in an adaptation of Virginia Woolf's Orlando. So keep an eye out for Emma Corrin.
I was thinking of the actor from Tenet. Ken got out of the car with their foot. Okay.
All right, so heading into the final round, let's do a quick recap, gentlemen. Scores are very narrow. We can truly say this is anyone's game at this point. William the Phrygian Perry with a score of 165 and a 5-point lead at 170 for when locked in. So,
Before we get to the final round and hear these categories, Ken and Jeff and Matt and Julia, just want to take one more moment to talk about Patreon. And you've heard us talk a little bit about what you can get for $1, what you can get for $5, but more importantly, what you're really doing is helping the show continue to grow. We are only about 27 people from our 2024 goal of 600 patrons.
Wow. So thankful for that too.
I know, unbelievable. We're so close. So every new person that joins is helping us get one step closer to 600, which we didn't think we'd get here this quick in 2024. But if you'd like to join all the fine folks that help the show continue to grow and help us experiment with video, hopefully very soon this year, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. And obviously the most important point, though, is you'll never hear these ads again. So, yeah.
That alone is worth it.
That alone is worth at least $1 a month.
So goodbye to all of you who are signing up right now.
All right, Julia, what are those categories for the final round?
All right, y'all. Your final round categories, inspired by some of the only television I get to watch these days. The categories are Mom, Dad, Bingo, Bluey, and Muffin.
Both teams have wagered it all. 30s all the way down for both teams. That means if everybody's correct on everything, the Wenlock team will hold their lead. But let's hear those questions and see how it all turns out.
All right. Question 1, your category is Mum. For more than 120 years, the Mummers Parade has taken place on January 1st each year as thousands of costume performers gather to do the Mummers Strut down Broad Street. This surprisingly family-friendly parade occurs annually in which U.S. city, even if the weather isn't as ideal as the gang would have us believe? Number 2, your category, Dad. Glenn Scobie Warner was an athlete and college coach who helped to develop many key aspects of the modern game of American football at the turn of the 20th century. He might be best remembered today for his namesake nonprofit, the largest youth football organization in the U.S. What is that organization which incorporates his nickname? Question 3, category Bingo. In America, typical bingo boards are flat pieces of cardboard that contain 25 squares arranged in a 5x5 grid. Each space in the grid contains a number, except the middle square, which is typically designated the free space. What is the highest integer that can appear on a traditional American bingo card? Question 4, category Bluey. The most expensive and sought-after blue pigment of the Renaissance period was ultramarine, which was primarily the finely ground powder of which semi-precious stone from present-day Afghanistan? And finally, question 5, category Muffin. We all know what happens if you give a mouse a cookie, but what large land mammal do Laura Numeroff and Felicia Bond caution readers against giving a muffin?
We will be right back after these messages and find out who will be today's cream of the crop. And we are back, and we have the results. So let's go ahead and hear the questions one more time, and we'll give our answers. See who wins.
All right. Number 1, Mum. For more than 120 years, the Mummers Parade has taken place on January 1st each year as thousands of costume performers gather to do the Mummers Strut down Broad Street. This surprisingly family-friendly parade occurs annually in which U.S. city, even if the weather isn't as ideal as the gang would have us believe?
A couple hints in there, and we think it's Philadelphia.
Oh, most of the words you said there, Julie, were completely superfluous, but I do believe the weather's better in Philadelphia. Correct.
Everybody gets points. Philadelphia. The Mummers Parade is the oldest continuous folk parade in the U.S. The first formal city-sponsored parade dates to 1901. Mummers belong to clubs in one of 5 divisions, and the Golden Slippers are apparently the iconic image of mummery. So, apparently,
I still don't understand what you're saying, but
yeah.
Jason Kelsey apparently did it.
Sounds good.
Good for him.
And they're dressed. It's kind of like kind of an equivalent of like a Mardi Gras parade, but in Philadelphia.
But you can't tell anybody about it. It's Mom's word.
All right. Number 2, Dad. Glenn Scobie Warner was an athlete and college coach who helped to develop many key aspects of the modern game of American football at the turn of the 20th century. He might be best remembered today for his namesake nonprofit, the largest youth football organization in the U.S. What is that organization which incorporates his nickname?
We went with Pop Warner.
Yeah, I never played when I was a kid. They told me I was too big in the 5th grade to play with the other 5th graders, so we said Pop Warner.
What is that?
I know, rude. That's what I said.
Rude, but correct. Sorry, Matt. Pop Warner. So the Pop Warner Little Scholars enforces a national rule book that incorporates tested rules and regulations, has strict equipment requirements, and mandates volunteer screening and training certifications. So it's really, again, one of the biggest youth football organizations in the U.S., and you'll hear people talk about that a lot. It comes from his nickname was Pop because when he was at Cornell playing football, he was one of the oldest students there in the 1890s, and so the old guy, he got the nickname Pop. And
I thought he just loved soda in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That might be the only time in history someone's been too tall for football.
Question 3, your category is bingo. In America, typical bingo boards are flat pieces of cardboard that contain 25 squares arranged in a 5x5 grid. Each space in the grid contains a number, except for the middle square, which is typically designated a free space. What is the highest integer that can appear on a traditional American bingo card?
It's been a while for us, right, Neil?
Yep, long time.
And we're not 90 years old yet.
I was to say, but you guys are on your way back to it.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. We said 60.
And so in the UK, I think a bingo card goes up to 90, but Matt tells me in the US it's 89.
All right, guys. I did have to specify this was American bingo because Stuart was right. The British ones will go up to 90. In America, the highest integer is 75.
75.
So the B column contains 1 to 15. The I column contains 16 through 30. N has 31 to 45. G has 46 to 60. And O has 61 to 75.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. All right, number 4, bluey. The most expensive and sought after blue pigment of the Renaissance period was ultramarine, which was primarily the finely ground powder of which semi-precious stone from present-day Afghanistan.
We weren't too sure, but we're guessing turquoise.
Yeah, we talked about a few different blue stones. Stuart had an idea. We were getting there, and I don't think we have the full name, but we went with lapis luna.
You guys were so close. It's lapis lazuli. So close. Yes. So its lengthy grinding and washing process makes the natural pigment quite valuable. It's roughly 10 times more expensive than the stone it comes from, and it is as expensive as gold. International Klein Blue, which you may have heard of, it's a 20th century blue that is based on ultramarine. That's the official color used by the Blue Man Group. Tying it all together. And then number 5, muffin. We all know what happens if you give a mouse a cookie, but what large land mammal do Laura Numeroff and Felicia Bond caution readers against giving a muffin?
This would be a moose.
Yeah, I don't know what happens when you give them a muffin, but I think it's a moose.
It'll probably kill you.
Yeah.
You know, they left that out of the children's book, but maybe for the sequel. Yes, the answer is a moose. By the way, like if you haven't ever seen a moose before, they are very big. The average male weighs about 880 pounds. Apparently, they can grow up to 1,800 pounds. They can dive 20 feet underwater and stay underwater for 30 seconds. Isn't that wild?
I didn't know that.
Horrifying.
Yeah, horrifying. You could just be like in a lake and then a moose comes up under you.
Just when you thought you were safe.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to bury the lead any further. Both teams doing exactly the same in the final round. Gaining points, losing points, gaining points again. And it stays dead level as far as the gap here, but both teams getting 30 points to add to their scores. So with 195 points, William the Phrygian Perry unfortunately falls to the 200 points of When Locked In. When Locked In, you are this week's cream of the crop.
The cream will rise at the top. Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Great game.
Congratulations.
Yeah, justice for the London 2012 mascot.
Yeah, that's right.
He's playing the long game on you, Ken.
Doesn't change anything. Doesn't change anything. That's all I'm saying.
They have the drop of steel. We have the drop of tears, but it was a great game.
That's right. Thank you, Julia, for that excellent game.
Thank you. I realized it skewed very female and American. So perhaps this was not Stuart's most favorite guest episode he's ever done. But
well, we
alas.
need games to
I enjoyed
female.
it.
The American, we have that covered.
Well, thank you, Stuart, for being here today and for taking some time out to play with us today. Anything you'd like to say before we let you go? Any shout outs or anything you'd like to plug? Anything like that? The floor is yours.
Okay, not terribly. I'd just like to thank you guys for inviting me on, and I've got a lot of friends in the quizzing fraternity, particularly OQL in the UK, but also some in the US. I know I've played against some of your other Patron supporters, Addie Lewis, for example. I've played against, and so just a shout out to anyone who knows me in the quizzing circuit.
Awesome. Well, good luck on all of your coaching as well. We hope the season goes well for you. But yeah, thank you for joining us and for being a Patreon supporter. And then Julia, any update on the shepherd's pie? Have you started or not started yet?
No, guys, I gotta hit the kitchen after this.
All right. Well, yeah, we had a great time. Great game as always, Julia. We learned a lot, and some of us felt dumb on some answers, but that's okay. That's the point of it. Kenneth, anything?
Yep. Before we go, we just want to thank Airwave Media, our network. You can find them at airwavemedia.com. Check out other great podcasts such as Historical Blindness, The Box of Oddities, who we had on the show quite recently, and the Queen's Podcast.
Yeah. And after you're done checking out Airwave Media, we just want to leave you with one lasting message, a love letter from the trivia community to go to your local bookstore and check out some fairy smut. Thank you, everyone.